At long last, the wait is over, and we are back with Ironsworn, Eye of the Storm. We're celebrating. We're having a good time. It is
We
so
did it.
good. Yes, we did it,
We
gang.
out here.
We had a brief hiatus because, as you can see, I am in a new space. I've moved, and for that reason, I had to take the week to just grind and get the hell out of my old place.
Yep.
But with me in this beautiful new space is my beautiful friend Caleb. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so good. The inside of your house is so beautiful. Thank you so much for letting me record from your guest room.
Yes.
So classy. Sergio's been letting me stay here for a couple days while I get myself back on my feet. So it's great. A great place.
I think it's been. This is session 11, and you were here at session 6, I think. So it's
Yeah.
been a little bit, a couple of episodes. Your Ela, the creation of yours, has been on quite an interesting adventure. We are still
She
with her.
has.
Yeah, we are still with her. I guess I should recap, and the last episode we had with Aaron. So Ela uh, had ventured to Stone Tower up in the mountains and had gone down in Stone Tower after speaking with the villagers there and learning that the corruption, whatever it was, originated down the bottom of Stone Tower, where she met the Treant sorcerer that we had hypothesized had been here. The Treant sorcerer seemed to be the source of the fungus, and using our abilities and using this new knowledge that fermented kind of fruit juice burns away the fungus, we were able to clear the treant and speak to it. And we spoke to it a little bit with Aaron, and we learned that it had come from the north, and that the source of the fungus was likely to the north. And the treant sorcerer, when we asked, was there something outside the storm, had a relatively foreboding answer. They said that if there was something out there, it was the cause of the storm, and maybe even worse than the storm, something that no cartographer wants to hear because they just want to get the hell out of the storm. So it was quite an interesting news for Adon, who was with Ela. They eventually chopped up the treant because it wanted to die. That was kind of a weird moment, but we got through it. And we got down off the mountain. We returned to the village. Ela went to the cartographers and asked if she could borrow one of their iron suits, the suits that protect you from the storm if you enter. But they're like Stone Age spacesuits and just very cumbersome. So if she was going to use it, she would have to have a pack mule of some kind to take her to the storm before she put it on. And what other pack mule would be better than the Stormbird itself? So Ela went to Half, the person that was training the Stormbird, and asked. And Half said only if he came along, because he knew that the Stormbird wasn't completely tamed yet. And let's face it, we all know Half. He wanted to go on the adventure as well. So they set out, and they had a little bit of difficulty. They ran into some marshlands that just kind of really stressed them out. It was a difficult journey, but they eventually got to the Eye of the Wall. The Eye of the Wall? No, the Wall of the Storm. They put on the spacesuits, and just as they were getting ready to enter, a wyvern, a worm, an ice worm, a giant dragon blew out of the storm, kind of did a big pass around the area. Ela and Half did their best to hide, but they were too slow in these big cumbersome suits, and that thing saw them. The worm saw them. It flew down, snatched them up, snatched up the Stormbird, and they all flew back into the storm. And that's where we left it. So Caleb, with all of that knowledge, what do we think? Can you set up kind of the initial travel through the storm? What's going on? What is it like? Where do we land?
So we're being held by that worm right now, right? The wyvern has
Probably in its
us in our
claws.
claws.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think that Ela is being gripped tight by those scaly claws, and we're soaring through this iron storm. It's absolutely painful because, of course, there's these flecks of iron slapping against their faces as they're
Remember,
being
they've got the suits
supported through
on.
the.
They've got the suits on.
Oh,
So the
yes. I'm
suit is
so sorry. There,
protecting them.
at least there's the sound of iron against your
Yes,
suit. Then,
yes.
right?
Sounds
The
like a
sort of
hailstorm or something.
exactly, the flecks of metal, like twice as worse as hail
Right.
too, right? Because of the huge sound of like clinking metal. You're high above the clouds, I think, inside of those big gray storm clouds above the horizon of the landscape below. I don't think we even see the earth below. Um, and I think every so often it cuts through the clouds themselves to reveal these huge mountainous peaks, and it gives us a clue to where this wyvern's taking us. Before long, I think the storm knocks out Ela in half just from the sheer velocity going through that storm, and I think eventually, through a breaking of the clouds and a swoop down into the huge bout of steel iron rain, we land inside of this huge domed out cavern, right?
Yes, we have a corrupted frozen cavern that we know is called Wyvern's Rest.
Right. So I think Wyvern's Rest is massive. I mean, even large for the worm itself.
And what? It's
Um,
like in like the side of a mountain or something.
Yes, it's like built into one of these huge cloud breaking peaks, and the inside is sort of marbled with this beautiful mirrored ice
Mm.
that frames out the entire dome. There's a precipice around the area that the wyvern sort of set up as its hoard or its location where, well, unfortunately, this is probably where it feeds. And if you were to fall off, God knows how long half would fall or any of us would fall.
So
But
you're describing it like there's like a plateau within this massive kind of empty space.
exactly right. So this huge dome is sort of rounds out a smaller plateau in the center, and then there's this huge drop off the sides.
Wow.
Uh, and I think the ice itself is being corrupted, just like our delve is saying, but
Right.
it's being corrupted by that same uh, bizarre fungus, that
Right.
moss that has infected it before, and it's turned some of the ice that was formerly mirrored in some of the places still, but it's become this disgusting black, sort of like black ice, right? Like muddied,
Yeah.
disgusting,
Yeah.
cursed ice against the side there. And I think there's this sort of domed up wall that the wyvern throws our bodies against, and that's probably where we start on this delve.
Okay, so a lot to think about here. So we're in this frozen cavern that is corrupted. Um, my first question is: does this wyvern speak? Is it intelligent? Is its main goal just to eat us? You know, what do we think we want to do first in terms of like setting up what happens next?
Well, the Tolkien head in me desperately wants to give this dragon some intelligence. I mean, in stories growing up, I always loved the idea of these huge, powerful, godlike beasts who are, intelligent to a certain extent, right? They have a mind and they think they're above us. I think this worm is the same way. This wyvern thinks the same way.
Gotcha.
It can speak. Um,
It's
I
probably
don't know if it
very
would speak
old
to
and
us.
very big. If people know of it, if these Ironlanders who are within the storm know of it, it must have been around forever. Um,
Yeah.
okay, first things first. Um, I think. Well, no, we're not going to mark any progress yet. We
Okay.
kind of already marked progress because this dragon just took us straight to our destination. But let's come up with a name. How does this thing introduce itself? Would you like to roll for it?
Yeah. Let's roll for it.
Okay, roll a d100. I don't know if I have any good dragon name books, but maybe in the Ironsworn book, there's a good one. Let's see. There's other names. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and roll that D100 and let's see what we get here.
I've got a 63.
All right, so let me make sure we see it. Yep, we see it. 63. Keha. Keha. Keha or Kiha?
Kiha.
Keha. Keha, the frozen nightmare, or something like that.
There
It's
you
got to
go.
have an infamous name, and that's certainly how it would introduce itself. My name is Keha, the frozen nightmare. Something like that.
The black ice.
The black ice. Yeah, I like that one. Keeping with our fungus corruption thing.
Exactly.
Would it have like fungus growing on it, or is it clear of the fungus?
Well, I think it's almost entirely infected by it. The storm hasn't caught up to this wyvern, but the moss absolutely has. I think it maybe has the same sort of glossed over eyes that we experienced when we were trying to save Cadigan.
Interesting.
I think that it's adopted that, but not nearly as insane as the people that were caught down here.
Right.
I think he still has his mind, and he's walking about the cavern. Hasn't ate us yet, thankfully, but talking to himself. I think he's gone as mad as we have, or as the people caught.
Yeah. So he's a little off kilter when he introduces himself. Seems a little strange. Now, why is he talking to us as opposed to eating us? Is he curious about the outside world or something?
Yeah, I wonder if maybe it's the storm bird. Maybe he's run into Ironsworn before, and he recognizes what we are, and he's curious as to what brought us out here. Maybe he had positive experiences, negative experiences, but he knows what that armor means, and he knows what that bird brings.
Okay, so he's attracted by the storm bird. I guess, I'm obviously fishing for what the next role is going to be. I think what's obvious is that he's asking Ela and Half questions about the Stormbird, about what's going on in the outside world, and you're trying to convince him not to eat you. I think we need to make a compel roll here. That makes the most amount of sense to me. So, let's see. Let's pull out the handy-dandy guide here. So, are you trying to pacify, barter, or convince, threaten, or lie or swindle?
I think pacify is my word here. I think that Ela's speaking very softly. She's being truthful. She's trying to tell him exactly what got her into this mess, because she has an understanding that any mismove or trying to trick a dragon is just going to end up getting her killed.
Makes sense. You're going to roll plus heart. So go ahead and you're going to go to the summary page, and you're going to roll plus heart, and let's see what you get. Oh, okay. It can either be real bad, or you can burn your momentum and make it a strong hit. And real bad doesn't necessarily mean get eaten. It could mean like, hey, go scoop the poop in the back room or something,
Right. I think actually I'm gonna burn the momentum here.
Okay.
Let's play dangerously. Let's
Okay.
burn the momentum, make it a strong hit.
So set your momentum to 2. You're going to go back to 2. But it is a strong hit. On a strong hit, they'll do what you want or share what they know. You may take +1 momentum, so you can actually go to 3 momentum.
Okay.
If you use this exchange to gather information, you may make that move now and add +1. So that if the next move is gather information, you can add +1 to it. But with a strong hit, what do we learn? It seems intrigued enough not to eat us. Maybe crazy enough not to eat us. It hasn't quite, maybe he doesn't like to eat things that talk. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that maybe it's trying to search for information out of us as much as I'm trying to survive the situation, because they think we might be able to help them. They've realized how far off the deep end they've gone. And if we can't help, they'll eat us. But if we can help, we're useful.
I see. So he has enough of his mental faculties that he's like, I've got to get this off of me. I've got to get rid of me, or this fungus that he has. Okay. So, do you want to ask this dragon any questions that might help us in our quest? Any gather
I
information?
th- I think Ela is sympathetic to the situation, and she's half interested in this moss to begin with, because not only is it exactly where her, parents are somewhere around this area, but it's also a situation where she was asked by the cartographers
Right,
to bring some back,
right.
right? So it interests her as well. So I think she's definitely trying to find out how it happened to him, and what we can do about it.
You are going to roll plus wits, +1
Okay,
because of that last roll.
gotcha. Plus wits, plus one.
Let's see what you get. A strong hit. On a
Awesome.
strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take is made clear. Envision what you learn and take +2 to your momentum. So you're going to go to +5.
Awesome.
So this
Oh,
dragon
we're
definitely
right.
tells you something useful, in your quest.
So I think that he informs us that the troubles lie deep below, and he gestures to the precipice outside of his plateau, right,
Hmm.
and shows this huge cavern that looking over the edge with him and Ela and Half, of course. We look down and we see this huge bed of moss, that disgusting fungus that has grown it's incredibly fast at the bottom.
Hmm.
And he informs us that the answer lies inside.
Is the dragon the cause of this fungus? Because we've yet to actually find the source of this weird fungus. Um,
Right, we had some sort of inclination for the treant that it might have been them, right? If
yeah,
I'm
and
remembering correctly.
but the way we kind of ended it, it almost felt like the tree ant contracted this fungus, but wasn't necessarily. It was the source at Stone Tower, but it wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
the progenitor of this fungus.
If I can leap, I think the dragon would maybe be in the same category. And what's happening here is that once the fungus begins, they all become part of something larger, like a almost like a hive mind seeping
Ah.
in. Think like mushrooms with like myconid colonies, and the way that they all combine.
Yeah, for sure. And we've been kind of hinting at that. Like the sheer fact that Ela is able to extract the fungus from somebody using her ward abilities. You can only do that with a foe. A foe, we would categorize as like a sentient thing. So, yeah, maybe there is some sentience to this fungus. And
Absolutely.
yeah, maybe there's something deeper down. We did decide when we were discussing this site with Aaron the types of things that you might find here. We said there might be cattle from from Keha's, going out and getting food. There might be trolls. There might be rabid vampire alpacas. That was Aaron's edition. There
Yeah.
might be another stormbird, and there might also be a husk. A husk would be interesting if they were the progenitor of the fungus, if they were a
Right.
practitioner of some kind that like created it or something.
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that it may be an invention of the husk, or they were the original contractor, patient zero.
Gotcha. So maybe the dragon doesn't completely know, or we will find that out. But nonetheless, the dragon has made it clear if it's going to help us, we need to help it first. We need to go down and delve this place. So sounds like we want to delve in this frozen, corrupted cavern. Let's make a
We
delve move.
absolutely do. Let's do it.
How are you moving into this site? Are you
So
moving?
I
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Uh,
I
it,
want to hear you first.
the options are edge, shadow, or wits. How are you moving about this place?
So I think that Ela's being smart here. She's looking for the best paths along the cavern descent. There are some ramps, or not really ramps, makeshift rock formations that come off the cavern walls and look, sparsely enough from the fungus that maybe we could track a path. And so Ela spends the time to move carefully, make deliberate decisions, and make the ones that make the most sense, to stay away from the fungus, to avoid being touched by it, and to avoid falling to our deaths.
Okay. Before
I'm sure that Half is very disappointed that we're going slow. and thinking with our minds
Right,
here.
right,
He's probably grumbling the entire way about how we could jump to a shorter path or
right.
whatever it might be.
Before we make this roll, do you think that Ela would ask the dragon about her parents? Because that would be a surefire way of knowing whether they're here or not.
I think that's absolutely something that she considers. I think she even asks it. I think it may be a situation where the dragon turns and says, you know, you scratch my back, I
Okay,
scratch yours.
fair enough.
He mentions that he's seen many people through many years, and he can't remember the last time he remembered what time it was.
Hmm.
But he may be more inclined if this disease was freed from him.
Gotcha. So we're gonna roll plus wits
Okay.
to delve the depths. Let's see how we do. A weak hit.
All right.
On a weak hit, you are going to roll on this table. So please roll a d100,
Okay.
and what you get will determine the outcome. 85.
85.
Interesting. Okay. Take both. You're going to mark progress and find an opportunity. So,
Okay.
progress within the site is represented. This is a danger. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Stone Tower. This is an extreme location. So, marking progress means we're just going to fill up one checkbox. So now we have one box completely full instead of only half.
Awesome.
And we're going to find an opportunity, which is a roll in and of itself. Let me pull that up. Roll a d100.
Okay.
23. The terrain favors you, or you find a hidden path.
Ooh. Okay. I think that maybe, like we agreed earlier, maybe the Ironsworn or the people who usually come with Stormbirds that the dragon was referencing earlier actually carved a path down here. And she finds some excavation made by them to get to the bottom faster.
Okay.
Like maybe some remnants that someone before her tried to stop whatever was happening here.
I like that. I like that. Now, because we rolled so well, you may choose one: gain insight or prepare, in which you would take +1 momentum, or you can take action now, and you and allies may make a move, not a progress move, which directly leverages the opportunity. When you do, you may add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit.
Okay, if I took that move to leverage our action, could I get down the path faster? Maybe.
It just comes down to what move you want to do next.
Right, and I could do another delve roll, right?
You could do another delve roll. I don't think. Let's see, because a delve roll might be a progress roll.
Right.
Yeah, it is. So
In that case, let me just take the insight. It makes more sense.
got it. So add +1 to your momentum,
Gotcha.
and we get to the bottom. What is the bottom like? Do you want to roll for it, or do you have an idea of what the bottom of this frozen cavern is like?
I think that it becomes almost like a forest made of different fungal cultures. Like it is completely embedded in the moss, so much so that fungus we found is the only ground you can walk on. So Ela has to abandon all fear of it, and just hope the suit is going to protect her.
Yeah. It's I mean, the suit is still working even outside of the storm. Keeping her from contracting any of this fungus.
Exactly. And I think the growths form almost like a downward mine shaft. So it's this forest, but it's uh, relatively small, only as large as that tunnel might be. And
Okay.
so it gets increasingly and increasingly more claustrophobic the deeper that her and Half make movements down into the fungus.
Got it. I think the most obvious thing is that we're just going to continue to delve the depths unless you have an idea about doing something else.
No, I think that's the way to go.
Okay, are we moving with edge, shadow, or wits?
Um, you know what? I think that Ela is put off by this situation, and so is Half. And so, in a moment of sort of fear, half fear and cautiousness, she lets Half take over as leader.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and of course, Half's idea is to hack through the cultures, one swing at a time, let him and the bird lead, and Ela takes up a back position as he clears a way through the culture forest down into this abandoned mine shaft.
So you're saying we're going to move with edge.
Move with edge,
All right. So
absolutely.
go ahead and roll edge. You're still pretty decent stat for Ela.
Oh,
Oh, this is a miss.
not like that, it's not.
No, you are going to reveal a danger. Let's roll for that. Please roll a d100.
Okay.
59.
Oh, man.
You face an environmental or architectural hazard. You know what's funny is we roll this all the time. Every time we reveal a danger in a place, we always roll this
Yeah.
environmental or architectural hazard. It's cold,
So,
there's fungus, it's underground, there's ice everywhere. What could possibly...
well, the armor itself, if it breaks, there's a serious threat to both of them for the situation where this fungus gets into it. So I'm thinking that either it's so cold down here that the armor is starting to crack, and there's a danger that the fungus might get through if we don't make it through past this culture.
Okay.
Or the culture itself is starting to move towards our bodies and threaten to pull off the armor one by one. What do you think?
I think there need... How... Like, I'm trying to think in terms of... almost like a trap. I'm thinking, as you guys are moving, there's like icicles that, if any sound,
That break
they can
through.
snap and fall down on us, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that.
And they have
Let's go with
the
that.
mold, like the fungus on it, so you would get the double dose of a piercing and a corruption.
Exactly. And the mold has put so much weight on them that they're starting to buckle and fall just from our footsteps on the
Okay,
bottom floor.
so we need to face danger, I think, as we traverse through this minefield of sensitive shards of ice, these icicles. You're going to either roll with edge, heart, iron, shadow, or wits. You'd be moving with speed if you were using edge, courage if you were using heart, aggressive action if you were rolling with iron, stealth if you were rolling with shadow, or insight and observation if you were using wits.
I think she's going to take over since Edge didn't work so well for us, got us in some trouble. She's going to use our wits, and she's going to hop onto the back of the Stormbird and hope that that added mobility of having the bird to escape from these falling ice picks will be enough to get them out of the situation.
Okay, you're going to roll plus wits, and let's see how you do. Oh,
Oh.
Jesus. On a miss, you fail, or your progress is undermined by a dramatic and costly turn of events. Pay the price. I think we know what happens. You kind of buck the Stormbird is, it makes too much noise, and it echoes.
Causes a huge avalanche of them.
Oh,
I think
nice.
in that avalanche, what happens is we're separated from Half.
Oh, interesting.
I think it falls through. I mean, I'm totally cool with taking harm too, because
you're definitely going to have to endure harm. Let's do that roll, but I love the idea that, like you're both running as these icicles are falling, and maybe you have to go different ways to get out of this.
Exactly.
But let's endure harm. You're either going to roll your health or your... let's see. When you face physical damage, suffer health equal to your foe's rank. The rank of this place is extreme, so it's actually pretty intense. Let's see. This site is a extreme site. That means technically you would take 4 health damage.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a +4 health. What would that mean, bud?
Well, it doesn't mean you're dead, but you're going to endure harm, and let's see what happens. So... reduce your health to 0.
Okay.
But now you're going to roll health. You're going to roll iron because your iron is higher.
Okay.
And iron is +1 for you. Oh boy. This is real
Bye,
bad.
Ela. Oh!
No!
No!
Oh my god! On a miss,
Oh!
you suffer -1 momentum. We're going to go to +5 momentum.
Did I kill her, Surge?
If you are at 0 health, you must mark a wounded or maimed, and you will roll on the following table. So, your momentum is going to go to 5. You're not unprepared. I don't know why that is, but you have you are maimed in some way. Let's roll a d100 and find out what kind of maiming you take.
Scars are cool. It's okay.
33. You are unconscious and out of action. If left alone, you come back to your senses in an hour or 2. If you are vulnerable to a foe not inclined to show mercy, face death. Fortunately, there's no obvious foes at the moment. With that said, I think we need to ask the Oracle, is it half that finds you first, or is it a denizen of this place that finds you first? 51 or greater, it's going to be half. So roll a d100.
1d100?
Yep.
Oh, no. No.
You got a 33? No. Oh, okay.
No.
Whoa.
I got it.
Not a d1000.
30.
A 30 is a denizen, my friend. A 30 is a denizen.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
Wait, so I could die, right?
Well...
Are they finding me unconscious?
Well, let's first find out what the denizen is. If we go to the site, we have many options. Why don't you roll a d100? Parker is convinced that you are throwing this game.
Yeah, I was paid. This is the Jake Paul fight. I was paid to take the L.
Okay.
44.
44 is the ice worm. So that's Keha. I don't think Keha wants to kill you. I don't think Keha's impressed.
Would Keha be down here?
Well, that's what we got. If you want to re-roll, I think it's fair to re-roll as well.
I don't know.
Unless you can justify why Keha has come down. You know, I guess Keha have heard the avalanche.
Yeah.
And has come to expect.
I guess that's true. It's just interesting. He would send us down here and then decide to come. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, you go do this because I don't want to. Oh, wait, I'm going to because you're down here.
I agree, and that's why I'm offering you the chance if you'd like to roll a d100 again.
Let's roll a d100 again because I don't think
it's we don't always have to stick to the rolls. Let's see what happens.
Watch it be Keha again.
56 is Keha again. Roll again. We said that he was a common element of this site, so just roll again.
Let's go, Iceworm.
90, much better. 90 is a troll.
Uh-oh.
I would argue that trolls are not particularly friendly.
No,
I think
definitely not.
You're going to have to face death.
Yeah.
Now, when you are brought to the brink of death and glimpse the world beyond, you will roll plus heart. Now, fortunately, heart is one of your strongest assets.
All right, Ela. Okay, Ela. All right, Ela. Oh, shit, Ela! No!
Holy shit!
What the fuck?
On a miss, you are dead.
Oh, shit!
Oh my god!
God damn! It's not even 8 o'clock.
I think what happens is that half eventually, like traces back to where Ela was left, but she's not there. And I think he follows some footprints, right? And eventually kind of finds this offshoot cave, and he sees blood trickling. And what do you think? Does he come upon the troll in mid-feast or what?
I think the troll has just cracked Ela's back clean, like it's picking crab, and I think Hap has to watch from boulders behind. And he has to stay completely silent or cause more icicles to fall. So he's stuck there,
Oh my
watching
god.
his friend be cracked clean open.
Okay. He let's see. You either need to face danger or endure stress. And if you roll poorly on stress, you might yell out or it might notice
Yeah.
you or something, right?
I think the obvious thing here is that Half's trying to endure stress. He does not need this fight. It's already an intense situation. He's trying to stay as quiet as possible and just try not to think of Ela cut cleanly in half as the troll picks at her spine.
All right, so first things first, we need to pull out Half's character sheet. Open up
Yeah.
Half's character sheet because we are
Okay.
now taking over as Half.
Do we have a new objective?
Well, let's discuss that. First, let's deal with the danger of the
Right.
troll. So you said you want to face danger?
I want to endure stress.
Endure
Actually,
stress.
he's staying as quiet as possible. He just wants to make this moment pass.
You need to either roll. Let's see. When you face mental shock or despair, suffer -1 spirit. I'll say -1 is fine. So his spirit is
Okay.
going to go down to 4,
Okay.
and you now either roll your spirit or your heart, whichever is higher. Which I think your spirit is higher.
It is.
So roll that spirit. Let's see what we get. Okay.
Okay.
A weak
All
hit.
right.
On a weak hit, you press on. So you manage to cover your mouth. You don't squeal out. Eventually, the troll, stops munching and goes quiet. Maybe it's sleeping or something. But yeah, you brought up a good question. Does Half pick up the vow that Ela had, which was 1, to bring back a sample, 2 was to find Ela's parents. What does Half realistically want to do?
I think.
And know also that at any time, Half can attempt to escape the depths and succeed regardless. So you can leave at any time.
Okay. And effectively, I could finish the vow of collecting the moss sample right now if I wanted to.
I would say that the only way to truly complete it is to return to the tribe.
Right.
That's the only catch.
Okay.
So you would definitely make progress if you scooped out some now or whatever, but
Then it's the head back to camp.
yeah.
I
Oh my god.
I just listen to me. I would absolutely pick up this vow for taking to the parents, but the level of that vow rivals Half's journey to reach power, to find the relation between the ruined, like all these things that Half has to accomplish. And Ela ends up exactly like her parents do, lost to the storm.
Oh.
I think this changes Half's completely. I think he's terrified at the notion that he's going to end up like this.
But
I
in
think he
in a way, he swore an iron vow to help Ela. Surely there would be shame to return to the tribe empty-handed like this. There has to be something that can be done. Or am I simply being in denial? Am I simply in denial about this?
No. I think you bring up a really good point. Trust me, I'm as conflicted about this as possible.
I mean, there is no currency with the Ironlanders. Their currency is their vows, their
Is
promises
vows.
to do things. And
Yeah.
in his own way, he vowed to help Ela. Now we can make a new iron vow for Half. Maybe it's return Ela's remains or do something.
That's what I was thinking, is that Half is looking at this and thinking, well, I don't want what happened to Ela with her parents to happen to her body,
Right.
I don't want someone to wonder where Ela went, at least bury her with the storm or cremate her. So I think that would be the vow. I don't think it would be the extreme hunt down her parents, because he already has so much to accomplish, and like 2 extreme vows, like that's too much, right?
I agree. So we need to return Ela's remains to the tribe. That's the vow, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
The threat. I don't know if I want to necessarily create a threat yet. We'll say the storm / the fungus, and I will put 1 progress on that menace because an ally has died. So
Yeah.
Let's decide how difficult this vow is. Is it going to be dangerous, formidable, for him to return to the tribe, or basically to get her remains and return to the tribe?
I think dangerous.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think dangerous is realistic, because really the danger is just how the hell do we get whatever is remaining of her from this troll?
And how do we get out without Keha?
That's right.
exacting
Keha's going to be
revenge?
like, I don't care if one of you died. I still need this problem fixed.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we've got it here. So, some time has passed. He has made a vow. Let's roll for it because we actually do have to roll for our iron vow.
Yeah.
You are going to roll plus heart for half. What a turn of events.
Oh.
Okay, it could be a weak hit or a strong hit, whichever you like.
Let's make it a weak hit. Let's just
Okay.
keep what we got.
You are determined, but begin your quest with more questions than answers. That makes sense. Take +1 momentum, so you'll go up to 8, and envision what you do to find a path forward. So, I think we need to kind of assess the situation, right? Is the troll asleep? Has it left the cave? So I think either a gather information or a secure an advantage. No, I think a gather information roll makes sense.
Yeah, I think he's trying to lean out from the boulders and get a good look as to what the situation is.
All right. You are going to roll plus wits.
Oh, great. Oh. What the fuck?
All right, it can either be a
What
complication or a strong hit. You got to burn that momentum if you want it to be.
I'm going to burn that momentum because, man.
All right.
What has been happening today?
Yeah, no, all the luck has run out of this game, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
All right. On a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take is made clear. Envision what you learn and take +2 momentum. So your momentum goes to its max, which is 10. And what's the situation? Is it there? Is it not there? Is it asleep? Well,
I burned momentum though, right?
you burned your
don't I
momentum.
lose
I'm
something?
sorry. Yeah, so you're going to go to 4. Your momentum's at +4.
4. Okay, cool. So I think it's actually that I think he's had his fill and left the remains and has skulked back down the mine shaft.
Okay.
It seems like there's maybe a congregation. Maybe he even hears the call from another troll down the mine shaft. And he goes, gallivanting after them, being called back by his tribe.
Okay, all right. So there's a moment of respite. I assume you go over to see what can be left. I think you need to. Well, that was a strong hit. I'm just deciding whether you need to roll for this. I think it's easy enough to kind of sneak up and just kind of see what you have there.
Yeah.
You can either, let's see, what do you think would be left of 40? Her trinkets? I mean, she was a shaman.
Well, I think maybe like a portion of the upper half, maybe a fourth of her.
He's gonna like carry the body? Oh.
I was thinking maybe we do a pyre once we get out of the, like, maybe his thought is to incinerate her before going back into the storm because she might become iron otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty risky to light a fire in here. Like, I think best case scenario is like find a locket or a charm or something of hers, because he's basically just getting something to give to a loved one of hers,
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because the ideal death for someone from the tribe is to be buried in the eye, right? So you become the ancestral weapon.
Yes.
I want that for Ela.
Okay. I dig that. I dig that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you're just gonna take whatever is left.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna like C-3PO her to the back of Half's pack.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
All
It
right.
was a few misses. I didn't think we were gonna die. Damn it.
So Half says a couple of kind words, that Ironlanders speak when someone is dead, and kind of scoops her up, and it's time to get out of here, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. Half has a goal or a vow, which is to investigate the relationship between the pillars and the husks to help resolve tensions between the historians and the ironmongers. Do we want to commit to the idea that the dragon has warned that there's a husk down there and that he wants to investigate that? Is he willing to let that go?
Yes.
Okay.
He's willing to investigate. He wants to go down here and see if this has anything to do with his existence.
Oh, so he is going
goal.
to continue to delve this place.
Just for just enough to know.
Okay. We are going to delve the depths with half. Let me pull up that. Got me all discombobulated here. Here we go. So, are you rolling with haste, with stealth, or with intuition?
Stealth. He saw how bad that troll was. He understands the risk.
Roll plus shadow, please.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. On a strong hit, you delve deeper. You may mark progress, which we will do on the site. The site is 3, 2. We're just going to make one full progress. Oh, I'm marking the wrong one. I have to stop doing that. Here we go. Whoop. Oh, interesting. We have to add
because we don't have.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to add it real quick here. The site name is Wyvern's Reach. Let me make sure everyone can see it. The objective is to leave with Ela's remains. It is a corrupted, frozen cavern. All right. Now, what was it that we just said? Was that a weak hit? It was a strong hit.
It was a strong hit.
You delve deeper. You're going to mark progress, which I will do now. We'll say that there was 2 progress for half because it's an extreme place. Actually, so it's a half. All right, so you're going to find an opportunity. Roll a d100, please.
Okay.
$87. You locate an interesting or helpful object. You locate an interesting or helpful object. We can roll on the features of this place to get a better idea of what this object might be.
Let's do it.
All right, roll a d100. It's the ambulance is coming for Ela.
Yeah.
A maze of icy tunnels. Now, this doesn't immediately seem helpful, but what if this maze of icy tunnels is like clearly made by someone, intelligently designed, and it implies that you've reached some kind of layer, maybe of the husk.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Is maybe it was carved out by whoever used to be the husk, used to be the person that the husk is now.
Okay.
Adopted.
Yeah, for sure. So you come upon this maze of icy tunnels, clearly designed to disorient anyone that kind of comes in. If you're just going to go in, I think you're going to face danger, but you could also try to secure an advantage to kind of figure out how this place works.
I think Half knows the danger of this place, and he doesn't want to end up like Ela. He wants to secure an advantage first.
All right. Here we go. Where are you? There you go. How are you securing this advantage? With what attribute?
I think Shadow. I think he's going to stealth out the area and try and get a secret view of the place.
Roll plus Shadow. Let's see how we do. This has become a fight for our lives, and you're rolling much better as Half. That's good.
Yeah.
On a strong hit, you gain advantage. This is an adventure move. Yeah. Choose one. You may take control, which is the next move you add +1, or you can put +2 to your momentum.
Let me take the one that gives me advantage on my next move.
All right, so you have +1 on whatever your next move is. Describe to me what the advantage is that he secures.
I think that maybe he gets an eye on the threat before it gets an eye on him. Maybe
Hmm.
he, comes down the caverns and he starts to hear something deep in the depths of those maze of hallways, right? And he comes to understand that it's a familiar sound, like the ones the husks made
I see.
originally in those ruins. And being who he is, he recognizes it immediately.
Yeah.
He's the expert on husks, anyways.
Okay,
And
so he
immediately
yeah, he like
he takes
follows the
refuge.
sound, right?
Yeah.
He follows the sound. Oh, you're saying that the sound is coming towards him?
Well, no, it's like centered at the bottom, and
I
so
see.
he comes upon the where it is
Okay,
essentially.
gotcha. Do we want to roll to find out what this next place is? Do we want to delve the depths? What's the next move?
Um, I think delve the depths because we still want to find this guy.
Yep. Go ahead and you are going to roll depending on what attribute you want to use: edge, shadow, or wits.
I'm gonna keep using shadow.
All right, use
Um,
shadow and you may
I,
add +1 to it because of that last roll.
weak hit.
Uh, are you hearing the dice rolls? I'm not sure if I saw. Yeah.
I am
Okay.
on
Good.
my end.
Good. Good. That's a good sign. So on a weak hit, roll on the following table. Roll a d100, please.
Okay.
58.
58.
You may mark progress. Um, we
Rocket.
will go to our site. We're going to mark progress at Wyvern's Reach. So we now have 2 full check marks. I think this progress, because it's related to the husk, I think we can add it to the investigate the relationship and but not anything to do with Ela. So, all right, so talk to me
No.
about what we come upon. Do you want to roll for it, or do you want to kind of just define what it is we find here?
Let's roll for it. Actually.
All right, go ahead and roll a d100, and we'll find out.
43.
43. A glistening cave. A glistening cave. So the ice is glistening in here. But maybe there's like something more than just an empty cave. Maybe this is the layer of the husk or the
Yeah.
laboratory or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's definitely related to the layer, similar to how Kera has his feeding trough up on the top of the plateau. I think this is a feeding trough for the husk, and I think it gives half a shock realizing, just exactly what happened to Ela, because there are in the mirrors of these ice all of these pictures of corpses that line the
Oh.
floor. They're the reflections of everything the husk has been eating in these past days. And
So at
it's just
first, yeah, at first you're just kind of like, enamored by the glitter, but when you get closer, you see what's in the ice.
yes, exactly. Piles of half-eaten corpses and skeletons and all manner of things he's been chomping away at.
I mean, you do a great job of describing how awful it is. I think you need to endure stress.
Yes, I do.
So I think that your spirit is going to be reduced by 1 to 3,
Okay.
and you're going to roll a spirit because that's higher than your heart. And let's see what we get.
A
Strong hit. Very nice. You shake it off, or you can take +1 momentum.
I want to shake it off.
All right, so your spirit goes back to 4. You steal yourself from the site. It's not like it's Half's first time seeing dead bodies.
Yeah.
But, you know, what else is here? What is this? If this is the husk's lair where it feeds, is there anything but just dead bodies? Is the husk here? Do we want to roll to find out if the husk is here?
Yeah, let's roll if he's feeding.
How likely do you think it is that he is feeding?
I think it's unlikely.
Okay. If it is unlikely, then you are going to just roll a d100, and 76 or greater, he is here. So anything lower than 76, it's not here. It's
Homie
empty.
is not here.
It's not here. But But let's decide how we want to resolve this. Do we want to go after this husk? Do we want to investigate the area to see if he can find any clues regarding its connection to the pillars or its connection to the fungus?
So I think he wants to gather information, find out, its feeding tactics, see if there's anything here that might indicate anything we want to know about the husks.
Okay, we are going to gather information. You are, let's see, you're going to roll plus wits.
Plus wits, gotcha.
Boy, oh boy, here we go.
Oh, fuck.
A miss. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. You may pay the price, or you can tell me what you think happens next.
Shit. An unwelcome truth I like. I'm just trying to think of what we might find in this feeding trough.
Yeah.
To
me, go ahead.
No, I want to hear.
I mean,
first.
To me, the options are the husk, surprises you and is like returns, or there's something genuinely, something here that reveals something quite dire about the situation that you're in.
I got it.
All right.
I got it. Okay, very dire situation. The husk. Well, first of all, let me drop this. There's evidence of 2 husks. I don't know what it is he finds in amongst the ruins, but 2 different bite marks, whatever it is.
Okay.
Half is a good tracker.
Okay.
He can discern that. But what's worse is he finds a necklace in amongst the feeding trough that reminds him exactly of the one around Ela's neck, and Half becomes aware that maybe the husks are her parents.
Oh my god. Oh snap. Yeah,
What do you think?
That's devilish. I love it. I think that what we can say is that on their journey, maybe Ela described her parents, what she remembers, the little that she remembers. She wore a golden necklace and he had this or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, it matches. It matches exactly. But that would mean that that Half would have to see the husk. So maybe they look over somewhere and they see these 2 husks and they match the description.
Let's go with that. Absolutely. They
Okay.
climb up into the area.
All right. Are these husks involved with the pillars? If not, then Half has kind of learned what he needs to learn from these people, or are these people in some way doing something that is relevant to his understanding?
They were sent out because they had a child against the tribe, right? Do you think that we would still put, betrayers of the tribe along pillars like we normally do, time-honored guests and people we honor? Are they still, memorial pieces for the
I think they are when it's appropriate, like when you're close enough to a pillar, or when they're of particularly high status or worth, like like animal, cattle and stuff like that. I think these people were just cast out, and they happened to be close to Wyvern's Rest.
I agree. That's what I was going with. I think that this is about all I'm going to get in terms of the husk and the ruin. I don't think there's a pillar here.
What an awful way to end Ela's story of all of this journeying to find her parents, only for them to have turned into husks. This is also it also justifies the progress that we just made on your vow, because you learn that not every husk is related to the pillars. Not every husk has the same intentions, right?
Exactly. So Half has this correlation that some of them are drawn to the pillars, but not all. So it must be something unique to those husks we found.
What's next for Half?
I think Half is struck by the vision he's made. He's going to try and let me ask you this: do you think the husks made Half?
Well,
do you think the husks saw him?
We can face danger with stealth to find that out, or you can escape the depths, and if you roll poorly, maybe something happens, like they are giving you chase or something.
I really want to do this not because it's smart, but because I can see it in the movie. You
Okay.
know, like I could see it. I think he's gonna face danger with stealth. He's gonna hide among the corpses.
Oh God! Pretend that he's one
He
of them.
exactly. He's gonna get this beautiful reflection of his face alive in the reflections of the ice. This huge domed out, mirrored of all these corpses, and he'll watch the reflections of those husks start to move in and out of the
Yeah,
crowd.
yeah.
He's sifting through. They smell something on the air.
All right, you're gonna roll plus shadow. Let's see how you do. The next couple of rolls are gonna determine how
Oh
he does. All right, strong hit.
shit!
You are successful. You take +1 momentum, so you're gonna go up to 5. And yeah, sure enough, like the husks like walk in the room, kind of sniff the air, but they walk out again or they walk past, not noticing you, and you are able to kind of backtrack your way. The
Yeah,
next logical step is to escape the depths, unless you'd like to do something else.
I would love to escape the depths.
All right, let's do that. How are you moving out? Are you moving with shadow, heart, edge, iron, heart? I don't know if I said that again.
Um, I think that he's gonna take the courage-filled move, get on the back of Fleck, uh, try and be as brave as possible, and run full force out of
Whoa.
here. Chariots of fire, back up the ramps and out of here before any troll can pay him mind.
Okay, you are going to roll plus edge.
Okay.
If you do well, this will be progress to getting Ela's remains back to the tribe.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, a weak hit. You find your way out, but the place exacts its price. So first, I will mark progress for you. This is dangerous, so you'll get 2 full check marks. You are either going to endure harm, endure stress, you are delayed and it costs you, you leave behind something important, you face a new complication, or a denizen plots its revenge.
I think Denizen plots its revenge,
Yeah,
right?
plots their
not
revenge.
like it's coming after me right now.
Not like it's coming after you right this second, but it could return.
Plots my revenge, or plots their revenge, and it's Kara.
Okay.
I think well, would I make it back to the plateau with this escape the deaths?
I would imagine what it is you come out of the caverns and you basically just run along the bottom of the frozen cavern to the entrance, and
Right.
you're able to get out maybe before the dragon, but before it's, the dragon notices you before it's too late, and when it comes after you,
Right.
you're already in the storm. And
Right. Like I'm coming through the entrance. He takes wing to try and find out what's happening, and Fleck screams at the last moment, drops the icicles back behind, closing off the door.
Oh, I
before
like that.
Kara can
Yeah.
get us.
Yeah, some icicles
And then-
fall on Kara and it's not able to kind of get out.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so
he knows we betrayed him.
so Half once again finds him out in the storm. He is in the middle of the storm. He knows he's not terribly far. I think you're going to have to face danger.
Yeah.
Go ahead and how are you moving? With edge, heart, iron, shadow, or wits?
Shit, man. How would moving with iron work?
Well, it's an aggressive action, a forceful defense, strength, or endurance. Which kind of makes sense in the sense of like you're wearing a big heavy spacesuit. It's the endurance of just kind of walking through the storm with the Stormbird.
Yeah. I think he's going to take the obvious path, ignoring whatever iron flex might come his way. He's trying to be strong in the face of it and just go straight line back to the tribe. And hopefully that constitutes an iron roll.
All right, so
Not
you're
my
going to
shitty
roll
edge roll.
Yeah, you're going to roll with iron. Half is a big tough boy, so he's been in the storm before. This is not his first rodeo.
Big tough boy gets a weak hit.
You succeed but face a troublesome cost. You are delayed, so you suffer some momentum. You endure harm, endure stress, or you take a 1 to your supply.
When I take a 1 to my supply, what exactly does that do to me?
Well, it just reduces your supply to 1. Thematically or flavor-wise, we'll say that, you have a backpack that gets blown off because of the storm or, something.
It's kind of boring.
I
I've never
agree.
taken the boring option
Yeah.
before. I think maybe Kara comes out the top of the mountain, exacting his revenge, and maybe it becomes a delayed run back to the tribe. It's not so easy because now I have to dodge him on the way
Oh, I
back.
see. Interesting. So you're in the storm, and Kara right now is like kind of like looking around in the area, doing circles. You are so your momentum is going to go down to 3.
Yeah, he's going to slow down. He's going to try and hide from him and take the stealthier approach now that we know Kara's above us.
At this point, a lot of time has passed.
Yeah.
You need to either get out of the storm or risk it moving while you're still in it. And if you
Oh,
are going to
shit.
move, are you going to try to secure an advantage? Are you going to just try to face danger stealthily?
Let's secure an advantage. Let's try and make this roll successful.
Okay.
Um,
How are you going to use? What stat are you going to use to try to do this?
I think Shadow, right? I think that he's
Uh,
looking for a path
If you were trying to
of least
secure an
resistance.
advantage, you would be using deception, stealth, or trickery. So
Right.
you
So,
could do something like maybe you're trying to cause noise or something to distract the dragon.
Yeah, let's go with trickery because we're a trickster anyways. I think we get something. for
Oh
doing
yeah,
tricks,
let's
don't
look at
we?
our assets here.
When you face danger,
Mhm.
secure an advantage, compelled by lying, bluffing, stealing, or cheating, +1. I don't think that's us here, though, right?
Yeah, you're not lying. You're not bluffing. You could bluff like
Bluff.
I think that it's close enough. Like we really haven't gotten a chance to use this asset. So go ahead. You'll have a
Yeah.
+1. And what attribute are you using?
God. I think Shadow.
Okay. Roll your shadow +1. Hopefully this is good.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I'm
can't.
so sorry. I didn't add the
Oh,
plus
okay.
one.
Go ahead and roll again then.
Okay. A weak hit.
Boy, yeah, the dice want you to make a weak hit. All right, so
Yeah.
you succeed, but face a troublesome cost. You are either going to lose momentum again, you're going to endure harm, endure stress, or suffer supply. Stress probably makes sense, like the stress of evading a dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Let's go with stress.
Your spirit is going to go down by 1, and I think you should endure stress because it went down by 1. So now you're going to roll. Let's see. Hold on. I always lose where it's supposed to be. Here we go. You need to roll either spirit or heart, and I think your spirit is higher, so roll spirit.
Okay. Here we go.
Strong hit.
Thank God. Okay.
You can either shake it off, or you can take +1 momentum.
+1 momentum.
Okay, so your spirit is not going to go up, but you manage to trick it eventually, and that kind of gives you the oomph to kind of keep going on your way. So I think that half 51 or greater, the storm has not moved yet. I'm sorry, 51 or greater, the storm has not moved yet. Yeah. Okay, so you continue moving, and sure enough, eventually you come out the other side. The iron that has stuck to the suit kind of slipping off and falling off once you're back into the eye. Drop to your knees because you've made it out. What's next? What's next? Are you returning to the tribe or what?
Yeah.
We are close to the wall of the storm, so there's a chance that there are forecasters not far away. If you wanted to look for some to maybe make camp with.
I think, yeah, let's make camp with the forecasters.
All right, we got to find them first. So go ahead and do a, let's see, either gather information or, we could do a make camp roll, and if you roll a strong hit, then we'll say that maybe you find the forecasters.
Okay.
So you're going to roll plus supply. It's not bad. It's +4 right now
Where? Oh, there it is.
at the very top. Strong hit.
Ooh, strong hit.
You and your allies may each choose 2. You can take +1 to your health, +1 to spirit, +1 to momentum, +1 to your next undertake a journey roll, which you probably will have to do, or you can suffer 1 to supply but takes +1 to your health.
Let's do a +1 to the next undertake a journey.
Okay, and then you have 1 more that you can choose.
And then we'll take 1 away from supply and add 1 to health.
Okay, so supply is going to go to 3. You could go +1 health and not have to worry about this whole supply thing.
Oh, well then I'll do that instead. So 4 and 4.
Yes.
Okay.
So you find some forecasters that are not far. You show them the remains of Ela. You know, they pray over her body. You guys make camp. I don't think Ela knew any forecasters, so
No.
Oh, but Half knows a forecaster. What do you think that that what's their name would be here? Let's see, Bonds. Wulon?
Wulon.
You think they would be here? You want to roll for it?
Yeah, let's roll if Wulon's here.
How likely is it? There's a 1 in 4 chance that she would be here.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with likely.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d100, and if it's 26 or greater, she is here.
Is there a middle ground besides likely?
Well, there's almost certain, likely, 50-50, unlikely, and small chance.
Let's do 50-50 instead.
All right, 51 or greater, and they are here. Okay.
All right, Wulon.
Sure enough, twice now Half has met Wulon on interesting circumstances. One was escaping that strange place that the Ironmongers had taken him to, and now it's with the dead body of one of the tribesmen. What do they have a discussion? Is there anything that kind of relevant that happens here?
I think Wulon is who he makes camp with, and maybe that's why he chooses the forecasters anyways, because he knows that this is Wulon's camp, or at least he came out on the side that he figured they'd be working at. I know that they've been tense in the past, and they've always sort of treated each other both like friends and rivals. I think this is a rare moment around the campfire where Half unloads, just tells her everything that happened, and explains Ela and her parents and the husks, and he talks back to the ruins, and he actually confides in Wulon, and for once Wulon is sympathetic to his experience. I think it's a very quiet moment after he gets the whole story out, and they make dinner and they don't talk the rest of the night.
Yeah. And
he sleeps next to the bundled up body of Ela.
So kind of a grim night, but Half is able to make it out with his life. Probably feeling a little guilty as well. I mean, this smaller framed member of the tribe who had these magical powers but wasn't necessarily as strong as Half, went out.
Yeah.
I think this is a great place to bring our session to a close, because I think the next player will undertake the journey of returning to the tribe. I will remember that there is a +1 to that undertake a journey because of your strong hit for their next roll. But yeah, the fight's not over yet. They still have to get home. The other thing I will say is that because he found Wulon, we'll add another progress to the returning Ela's remains to the tribe. So you are, you're like 6 away from potentially completing this vow. But first,
Gotcha.
Half has got to return. So, with that, we will bring our session to a close. The only player left is Eli. So, Ghost of Eli, you've been watching. You have been a part of this just as much as we have, and you will be here next time we play to bring Half home, to bring Ela home, And who knows? Maybe roll up another character. Maybe continue with half
Yeah.
for a little while. We're not sure. But
Eli, I'm so sorry I killed our girl.
I
The
mean,
one time I get to play her
yeah.
and I killed her, damn it.
You made her and you ended her.
Yeah.
But
Oh, man.
goes to show you the Ironlands are a tough place to live. But a great session. I wouldn't have asked for anything more or less. I loved it.
That was awesome.
Caleb, is there anything you want to say or plug before we wrap up tonight?
I just want to say that we're on a break right now, but in a couple weeks here, we're going to continue with the Ahsoka episodes coming out every week. I think we're doing a one shot this Friday
Yes.
from Allegra that I'm very excited about, where we'll be playing a flock of birds, a murder of ravens, or whatever. I think a murder of crows, right?
I have a
An
feeling.
unkindness.
Yes, an unkindness of ravens. Yes, they're teenage ravens specifically. So hopefully it has a little bit of that mall goth energy. You know what I mean?
I was planning on bringing a little bit of that stink for sure.
Maybe instead of a human that wants to be a dog, it's a raven that wants to be a human. You ever think about that?
Surge! Oh, if you don't want that, I may just take that.
You're the master of that.
You should do it. That's
Okay.
absolutely a great
idea.
All
right. Maybe that's what I'll play on, because I really haven't come up with anything yet. So maybe now I can play
killer.
With that.
Yeah.
All right. So expect that on Friday. We will have next week. We will continue with Ironsworn. We will have a new episode with Heroes You Should Know with Allegra, who will actually have a special guest. We will have our friend Carly from Spot Hidden. She will be joined as a special guest of that. So make sure to check that out next week. But in the meantime, we'll see you this Friday. Thanks, guys, for checking us out.
Thank you, Serge. It was great, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.